Nurture and Support begins in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Nurture and Support. I'm Kelly Toole, at Kelly Toole, T-H-U-L on Twitter. And with me is Mel.
Hi, everybody. It's Mel, at Karmic9 on Twitter. And we're happy to be back.
Delighted for episode number 4. And we'll just get right to it. This will be a book-free recommendation day for me. For the first one, I want to start off with, it's a music recommendation. And this is, we mentioned when we started the show, it could be new stuff, it could be old stuff. This likely falls more in the category of old stuff because I'm going to be recommending an album that was released in 1978. So that would be a little on the vintage side. And it's actually, that's the artist's first album. His body of work continued on. But the gentleman's name is Tonio K. So it's Tonio, T-O-N-I-O, space K. Are you familiar with him at all, Mel?
I don't think so. I wasn't very old in 78.
Yeah. Well, you can still buy. They still sell them. You know.
They sell them now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the Anyway, it wasn't painted on a cave wall or anything like that.
Hieroglyphics.
Yeah. So it was vacuum tubes. So fascinating guy. The first album he did was called Life in the Foodchain. He's actually a Texas native. He did some work with when Buddy Holly, the Crickets, the gentleman who played along with Buddy Holly, kind of started to do some things after Buddy Holly passed on. He eventually connected up with them in one of their incarnations and did an album or two with them. But the album is Life in the Foodchain, 1978, declared by Steve Simels of Stereo Review as the greatest album of all time. To be followed by Tonio's second release, Amerika, with a K, which Steve Simels from Stereo Review declared as the greatest album of all time. So Steve really liked Tonio's stuff. Mm-hmm. His real name is Steve Kerkorian. He takes his name, he's this interesting mix of Dada, the kind of nonsensical art form, a lot of Eastern or a lot of European philosophers. So Thomas Mann, a German philosopher, author, wrote a book called Tonio Kroger. And so he pulled the name Tonio K from Tonio Kroger. He also, so there's some Dali influences, Thomas Mann, Franz Kafka, these types of things. He kind of works into it. And it creates this very kind of interesting combination. Rolling Stone record review book used to who didn't quite have the same high opinion of Tonio as Mr. Simels did, said if Warren Zevon is Jackson Browne as a werewolf, this guy must be Jackson Browne as a smartass. And it's a good thing. But the Funky Western Civilization is the first song on it. And it's basically your typical dance tune about the decline and fall of Western civilization, with lyrics along the lines of, they put Jesus on a cross, they put a hole in JFK, they put Hitler in the driver's seat and look the other way. Now they've got poison in the water and the whole world's in a trance. But just because we're hypnotized, that don't mean we can't dance. And then it breaks into some serious surf guitar stuff. And Dick Dale. Yeah, it's peppy, apocalyptic kind of stuff, you know. So if you're Dick Dale, the surf guitarist, if you go back to this kind of really traditional surf music, when you hear all the Wipeout and the surf music like in Quentin Tarantino movies and all those types of things, it's that really heavy guitar, that's Dick Dale. And Dick Dale actually played his surf guitar during Funky Western Civilization for Tonio. And I just recently came across, and I think this just came into play, he finally has a website out as Tonio K, TONIOK.com. And they had, I went and I was checking it out. That's how I kind of came to this recommendation, because I had all these new discoveries. He had worked back, and they had a second version of Funky Western Civilization, where it was much more Dick Dale, much more surf guitar, and it's pretty fun stuff. There's an 8-minute little tune called "The Ballad of the Night That the Clocks All Quit and the Government Failed,"
That sounds like that could have been done, like, yesterday.
Yeah, it carries over pretty well. And then and there's a song about being a vampire, which is kind of funny as well in the first one. But it's a pretty good guitar rock, a lot of humor, a lot of wit.
Mm-hmm.
In the second album, Amerika, there's a suite at the end of it where he kind of plays a series of these 3 songs, and it's basically what's his name? Frederick Mers developed. This is back to the Dada stuff. Frederick Mers developed this concept called the Mers stage, which was basically life on a stage. And so you'd go into theater and nothing would be happening, but eventually everything would be happening. Was kind of the concept. And he wrote a soundtrack, in quotes, Mers did for this, which included sewing machine singing and an organ that played the notes fut, 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 F-U-T-T. And so Tonio's got a song called Fut, Fut, Fut on Amerika, which is a good kick. And just a last little tidbit on this one here. The music you hear at the beginning of our podcast is from a very pathetic little high school college band that I was a member of. That little snippet is from Geiger Counter Girl. But we also have, and maybe we'll say this as a treat sometime for our listeners, we have our version of Fut, 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 which is it's a toe tapper. So
cool.
But Tonio K, Amerika, Life in the Food Chain, Olé, La Bamba, tons of really good stuff. You go to toniok.com. You can get a pretty good taste of it. And if they had recording capabilities in 1978, I'm going to assume that other people could enjoy it as well. So.
Does he have new stuff out too, or they just got a website up?
He's making some rumblings of doing something else. Again, he does a lot of writing for others. He is probably the only person to have co-written songs with Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols and Burt Bacharach. So he kind of does a little rangy kind of stuff from there. But there's probably a pretty good chance that he'll be releasing something new in the not too distant future, based on at least what the little hints I'm getting on the website is. It says this is where I'll let you know if I'm doing anything, and you might want to keep checking back. So
that's cool. And it was toniok.com.
Tonio K at TONIOK.com.
All right, that sounds like something I would like. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, go after the show. Go bring up Funky Western Civilization off Life in the Food Chain.
I just like that name.
it's a. Then there was the Funky Western Civilization Phase 2, which was an even stranger song. So good stuff though, fun.
That's cool. I'm gonna check that out. I wrote that down. See right here. toniok.com. All right. Well, thank you. I guess that makes it my turn now. I am also, shocker of all shockers, going to be bookless this episode. I thought I'd give all y'all a break from all my books. I'm going to talk about a place, though, that you can sometimes buy books, and it is humblebundle.com. Mostly what they deal with is games. It is a neat little website that if any of you follow me on Twitter, you'll see me retweet their sales. They do a new sale usually about every month, and they run for a couple of weeks. Most of the games that they put up in a bundle are PC games, though. Most of them are redeemable through Steam, though they have lately started doing Android games for all of you Android users out there.
Super, super cool Android users, you mean?
Yeah, I'm not an Android user, but I might get there one of these days, especially with my second recommendation that we'll get to. But humblebundle.com bundles up a bunch of games, and you basically pay what you want for them. And you get to set how much of what you give them goes to Humble Bundle for the website upkeep, to the developers of the game, and the rest of it goes to charity. Every sale, every bundle, they'll have one or two charities that it goes to. Almost always it's benefiting Child's Play as at least one of the charities. And you get to set how much of the money that you give them goes to Child's Play. And if you haven't heard of Child's Play, it is a charity organization that basically is worldwide to put games in hospitals for sick kids. They also donate games to children who are terminally ill at home. So it's a really good charity organization supported by a bunch of gamers. Every year there's all sorts of charity game-a-thon type things that go on to benefit them. So I like it for that reason, but I also like to get cheap games. Now, these aren't going to be your cutting-edge games. You're not going to get something that just got released that costs you $60 to $100 at the store. You're usually going to get ones that are a couple of years old. But just to show you some of the ones that I have gotten recently, they recently had a Deep Silver bundle that I got Dead Island, and I got Saints Row 2 and 3, and I got Metro 2033. Now all I need is the time to play all of these games. Let's see. I also got Darksiders, which is one I'm excited for because I don't have Darksiders yet. So it's been a way for me to pick up some of the older games that I never got a chance to play and have them for whenever I do eventually get a chance to play them. And it benefits charity. So usually you, like I said, you get to set how much you want to pay for the bundle itself. And it starts off usually about $10, but there's a custom amount in there that you can make it any amount, lower than that or bigger than that. And if your average pay is more, if you put in and pay more than the average of other people that have put in, it unlocks usually a couple more games. And lately they've been throwing in a bunch of game soundtracks, which nowadays are pretty cool, musical-wise. I particularly like the Saints Row soundtracks. They thump. They're pretty good. So
which soundtracks?
Saints Row 2 and 3. The game
recorded
soundtracks.
After 1978, I'm going to assume.
They are. They're only
Okay.
a couple of years old.
Gotcha.
Game soundtracks have become a big thing nowadays. They put some pretty good music in those games now, so I like them. I also got Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, which I haven't had a chance to play and always did. So I'm excited to get to play those one of these days. Maybe over the holidays here I'll get a chance to actually break into them. But it's a great little service that bundles up a bunch of games. You might not want all of them, but for as little that you pay, you get a lot for what you pay for. And it benefits charity. And like I said, you get to set how much of what you pay goes to charity. So if you want to give, say you give them $25 for the bundle, and you want to give all of that to the charity, there's a little slider on there that you set it all to go to the charity. And it saves the games in your library, so if you don't have time to download them when you actually buy them, they're always saved in your library. And you can very easily go in, and it's a real simple install process to get it into Steam. I'm not sure how the Android install went. I imagine you had to download it and then sideload them to your Android tablet, but I'm not sure about that since I don't have an Android tablet. But the Steam installs are really easy. And that's probably about all I have to say about it. It's really cool. HumbleBundle.com, and you get to buy games and give money to charity. And what's better than that? Save poor little sick kids. Give them games.
Yeah, that's really, I had never heard of that. So that, and I'm got to turn in my geek card because I'm not Steam proficient at this point in time. My youngest daughter could probably teach me a little bit about it. It seems like it's a thing I should have a little better handle on than I do. But
Steam is really easy. All Steam is a basically it's a game client. A lot of the PC games that come out these days, when you install them, they're installing through Steam. So if you don't already have Steam installed, you have to install Steam. It's basically like a game manager. It's also a store. They sell games that you download, but it's essentially a game manager. And one of the cool things about it is you can sync your games across multiple computers. So, say you're traveling over the holidays and you're playing, in my instance, you've been playing Skyrim on your home PC, but you're going to the grandparents' house for the holidays, and you take your laptop. Your game, you have to set it up to sync to Steam's cloud, but all you have to do is install the game through Steam to your laptop, and your save games are there. And so they're always with you. You can play the game from any PC and keep it up to date. So it's a cool function, but a whole bunch of the games out there, when you install them, they're going to require you to install Steam. So it's simple, easy to use. They've put in some social functions as well, where you get little badges for completing certain quests in particular games. It'll pop up and tell you earned some such and such achievement. That, because nerds like achievements, we like badges.
So we should be giving out badges, shouldn't we?
We should. We should. Our graphic person here should get on that, because I'm not artistic. I can give you a Post-it note that says "Yay."
Yay! There you go. Well, that would be a Yay badge. Would be good. We'll have to. Yeah, we'll have to figure out. But yeah, somehow there'll be nurture and support badges. We'll figure that out of some sort. But that will require some work, so that won't happen right away. We'll figure it out eventually. Cool. Right. I was just, more than anything else, when you started the introduction and said, it's a place you can buy books, and I was like, oh, great. Here comes the Amazon Prime deal.
No.
So that was even better. So it was very cool.
They do occasionally have alternate bundles. Usually they're doing games. They have occasionally done ebooks. And some other things, and they've recently set up their own little, they call it the Humble Store, where you can buy other games that aren't part of a bundle. You can just go in and look through what games they have. These are all developers who have given them permission to sell their game through their store, and part of the proceeds will go to their charity. I was looking through it earlier today, and they've got Alan Wake in there, which I've lost all my Alan Wake CDs somewhere. So I was really thinking about getting Alan Wake to go back and replay it, but I didn't click that button. It's the holidays. I shouldn't be buying me more toys.
That's right. Yeah, you're in lockdown for a couple more weeks here.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because I keep seeing toys that I want, games that are on sale that I want, but I have to hold myself back.
Yeah, I don't have a good track record there, but I'm in good here, and I've in a really subtle way just said, all I want is the Breaking Bad barrel collection.
I want that too, and I know no one's going to give it to me.
That's not an inexpensive proposition. So I said, I don't need anything else. It's all I need. Make it simple for you. Might have tacked on the end, and if I don't get it for Christmas, I'm going to be buying it anyway.
Right. Yeah, so you better just go ahead and buy it for me.
Might as well do it this way. It kind of nets out better, but we'll see how it goes. But I hope if I do get that, I believe you will be hearing more about that as a recommendation.
There will be large pictures up everywhere about that Breaking Bad barrel. I want it so bad, but I'm pretty sure I won't be getting it. I don't have any Breaking Bad fans in the household that care that I like it, so.
We'll see. We'll keep folks posted on that. All right. Well, I'll go ahead. My next one's going to be kind of a quick one, I think. It's back to an app recommendation. In this case here, this app does run on both Android and Apple. It runs on both. I did a check on that, and I don't know if you've come across this one yet or not, Mel. It's called Push the Zombie.
No.
Okay, so pretty awesome game. You push zombies. It's pretty much it's well named, accurately named. And so you starts you off on a level, so the zombie is standing on top of some sort of platform, typically made out of wood, and then around the platform there are barrels would explode and a bed of spikes and 2x4 sticking out, and you are able to kind of a la Google Maps kind of spin the whole configuration around in 3D until you kind of pick your angle, and then you take your finger and you flick and you push the zombie off the platform, and they fall off the platform into the barrel, which blows up, which launches them in the air on fire. And as this is happening, you rapidly score points. So like if you throw the zombie and it catches its head on a rafter and rips its head off, you get points for that. So as you flick them off, they fall off, you clip off their head, an icon pops up with their head, and you get a point there. Each of the appendages you knock off, arms and legs, you get points for that. If you catch them on fire, you get points. If you cave in their skull, you get points. It's not photorealistic zombies, it's kind of cartoony zombie. There is a male zombie who's kind of looks like Frankenstein's little brother a little bit, and he's got a suitcase that's full of arms and legs, which I haven't entirely pieced together. I was unfamiliar with a zombie suitcase combination, but or briefcase, and so you flip him off, and that briefcase flies through, and you score points. Now the somewhat frustrating thing about the game, or the way it looks, is it doesn't look like they're trying to squeeze money out of you, but they give you 3 levels to begin with. You can play those levels and keep replaying them, trying to get higher and higher points. And there's a ranking to, if there's on the iOS version, they had like 131,000 people are playing, and you rank 100,000 or whatever. And as you keep scoring points, you can kind of move up a little bit in terms. So there's a little bit of the competition thing there. You do get badges in terms of different ways
badges
of
are good.
messing your. Yep, when you mess your zombie up certain ways, you get some big points. And so there's kind of Frankie's little brother, and then, so I think, hot might be it's a cheerleader zombie. I don't, little Jessica Rabbity. I don't know exactly how to describe her, but she's a zombie in a cheerleader outfit, and you're flipping her off this into barrels and spikes and all those types of things, and lots of zombie growls and stuff. But it's surprisingly addictive to find. Yes, if I could just get him to bounce off that barrel a little more, it'll go up in the air and land on the spikes. And you'll do the way this, and I've just started playing it. You play the first 3 levels, and you keep trying to build things up. And then it's not really achievement-based beyond the badges and points you can earn, but basically I see the next 3, and it says, these are locked and will become unlocked in 3 days. So it's just one of these things that... So unlike Tiny Death Star, which became a big time suck, although this seems like it might pace you out, but what I found is, I don't know, I could sit there and flick that zombie off the platform a lot. And so it's a free game, always a good thing there. Available on both iOS and Android, and I recommend a download. I think you'll find it entertaining.
I'm still working on my Death Star.
How's that going for you?
I think I've got 54 levels, and I don't know. It's getting to the point where I really just check in to restock my stores, but I did get Han Solo and Obi-Wan and the Emperor all in one day the other day. So that, I go several days without getting anything, and then all of a sudden I'll get all this stuff, and that's how they keep me playing, because I'm like, I want to unlock some cute little scenes. So I don't know, but I've not spent another dime on the game. I gave it my $4.99.
There you go.
And that's the only money I've ever spent on that game. So
Yeah, I'm getting close to doing that. I did the whole I need to get a little faster elevator deal. I had saved up my bucks until it took me quite a while to get to 25.
Yeah.
But so I was able to upgrade to the 2X version of the elevator. But
Well, I'll warn you, if you get your elevator too fast, you might have better hand-eye coordination than I do. But I can't get my little bittisons to the right imperial level because I have the 3rd elevator, and it's too fast for me. I can go up, but when I go down, you can't see enough ahead of you to know what level you're hitting, and I never can get them on the right level anymore. So I can't. I know I've missed unlocking some scenes because I can't get Luke to the right freaking imperial level. It's very annoying.
Yep.
But
well, so I'm a few levels behind you.
Problems.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's the stuff we all fight with. So. But yeah, I think you definitely push the zombie is worth a look. Pretty fun.
Definitely free. I'll have to check it out. So I think that takes it back to my turn, and this will be short and sweet. This will solidify the fact that I'm a huge freaking nerd, and most of you probably would tell me that to my face. But I'm sure everybody has heard of the SETI program, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. What I still find that a lot of people don't know is they have a program called SETI at Home. And basically, it's a distributed computing platform where you use your computer when you're not using it to crunch numbers for, in SETI at Home's instance, for SETI. But what got built around all of that is a project called BOINC, B-O-I-N-C, and that stands for Berkeley Open Infrastructure for Network Computing. And of course, all of this is set at Berkeley. And you can find BOINC's website, I believe, at BOINC, BOINC.berkeley.edu. And what it is it's a distributed computing platform, or they call it volunteer computing these days. And it's a very neat little service. If you have a computer at work, if you're a rebel, but at home, if you leave your computer on all the time, I know it's dwindling the number of people that actually have home computers and not tablets, but my computer's on all the time at home. So when I'm at work, it sits here and it crunches numbers for several different projects under the BOINC platform. SETI is one that I've been a member of since 2000. So I've been trying to find aliens for a really long time, and I'm getting disappointed that I haven't found any yet. But
22 years after Life in the Foodchain was released.
So yeah, so that was just one of the programs that started all of it. So that's why I bring up SETI at Home. What I'm really recommending here is BOINC. And this is a service where you go there and you look to see what projects you might be interested in helping. And most of them are, what you would expect, college, university type, research study type things. They range all over the place from medical type issues, biology type things, to climate. There's a lot of space related issues, searching for binaries, all sorts of things like that. There is another one that is under BOINC that's called World Community Grid. And that is one that does a whole bunch of different projects for basically improving people's lives everywhere. They do cancer research, they do HIV research, they do clean water, they do solar power, they've done a project on leishmaniasis. And they're using the power of these millions of people out there, millions of computers out there that aren't being used to help them do their research, because they always need data analyzed. And they chop all of this data up into, or these larger subsets of data into these little things that they send out to all these individual computers. And You crunch their little numbers. And on your computer, it runs as a screensaver. And some of them give you different little informative things as it's running as a screensaver. Some of them show you pretty little pictures. Some of them don't do much of anything. But it's always working behind the scenes. And we have these big, powerful computers these days. I have a 6-core computer that sits at home for 10 hours a day while I'm at work doing nothing. And this is what it does while I'm at work. It sits here and tries to make the world a better place while I am out slaving away in a dead-end job. So I recommend that everybody go to boink.berkeley.edu and download their little server client and jump in on at least the World Community Grid project, because it's doing things to help people everyday research that will benefit people right now. And for all of you Android tablet people, there is a Boink app that will let you run this on your tablet or even your Android phone, though I hear in the reviews I saw that it might run your battery down quite a bit, so it's recommended you only set it to run when your phone or tablet is actually plugged in. So you'll have to check that out on your own, since they do not have an iOS app.
Android, what a nurturing and supporting operating system. Don't you think, Mel?
I have an Android tablet, sort of. It's a Kindle Fire. Not fond of it. There, see? Yeah. I've said something not nice about Amazon.
There you go. So.
Not fond of that locked down little ecosystem of that tablet. So that will not get a recommendation from me ever. Ever.
I have a similar non-recommendation for the Nook color, which is fairly easy to hack and to make it to a little mini Android tablet and those types of things just a SIM card or a mini SD card kind of swap out kind of thing, fairly straightforward, but still not so great. Just the I don't like the super lockdown system much at all.
So that's my last recommendation for the day. Is go check out Boink. If you want to join SETI and look for aliens, more power to you, because I've been doing it for a really long time. Don't expect a whole lot of results, but definitely check out World Community Grid, where you can help them find cures for common everyday problems that are affecting our world right now. Try to find a cure for cancer or lock down specific cancer genes, doing clean water research, solar power research, all things that we need right now to make this world a better place. So I recommend everybody jump up there, and if you have a computer that sits there all day and does nothing while you're at work, or if you're really brave, go put it on all your work computers, and then you can rack up points. They don't do badges, but they do rankings. Oh. I'm ranked pretty high. Because I've been doing it for a long time.
Since 22 years after. So to recap, for those of you who've listened all the way through, Mel offered suggestions on places to buy games and books where your money can go help charity. Mel recommended a way to extend your processing power at your home to help make the world a better place. Kelly made a suggestion on how to push zombies off a platform and kill them. And recommended an album that featured the actual first use of an AK-47 as a percussive instrument in one of the songs. So there you go.
timely political commentary, though.
It doesn't date much. It's pretty good. And on the second album, he's got one of my favorite lines ever, which is "The French hate everyone, but that's just part of being French." and so he's a character. So
we love our French fans.
So French Canadians, uber awesome. So we'll, as is our intent on a lot of these, what we're trying to do for all these shows is that on our blog, which is nertandsup.net, NURTANDSUPP.net. We'll have kind of a little bit of an abstract of whatever the show is about, lots of links to everything that we talked about here. I'll see if I can cajole Mel into making sure that this entry lets me give like 3 or 4 Tonio K fun facts, like the whole AK-47 thing, and Dick Dale. But we'll have a couple of little tidbits, but the key thing is the links. And what we'd really appreciate is if you're on that site, there's an email link to email us in if you've got discoveries you'd like for us to talk about. We'd love to be doing that. If you want to comment on the blog post and you say, hey, I went with and it's Boink, right? I want to make sure it's right.
Boinc.
Doink the Clown, by the way, was one of the best WWE wrestlers ever, but maybe that's a recommendation for another day.
I missed that one. I only know the Von Erich brothers.
Yeah.
Or Kabuki.
Yeah, unfortunately, that Doink was a different world there. But yeah, in the comment section, if you try any of these things out and you like it, love to hear it. If you tried it out and you're like, wow, that Tonio K album kind of sucked, might as well hear that too. But just love to hear you. We're just offering this out. Your feedback's important to us. It's the idea. We're just trying to build a community here of folks sharing stuff that we think is cool, and your feedback's very much appreciated.
Yep, and you can reach us on Twitter. I'm at Karmic9. Kelly is at Kelly THUL, and you can email us at nertandsup@gmail.com. So please do so, because we feel lonely and alone.
It's just sad, we don't want an empty inbox. So send those letters in. So I think that probably wraps it up for episode number 4.
Yep, I think we're good to go.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening.
Nurturing and supporting Tonio.